I think over time we have too much dopamine throughout our lives that we're not in awe anymore. Okay, bing, bang, boom. Red light is on, as they say.
Today's episode is sponsored by, once again, myself, but
There you go.
featuring Trader Joe's beer bread.
Ooh, so
Um,
is that sweet? Is it savory? Does it taste like toast? What are we talking about?
Trader Joe's, you should sponsor me. Hey, look at this. So this is one bite taken already.
Nice.
It looks just like the packaging. If you haven't had like soda bread or beer bread before, it's
I was
not.
just gonna say soda bread. It
It's
looks like
very,
soda bread.
yeah, it's like that. It's sweeter than bread, but it's not even sweet. It's like more kind of like buttery, salty.
Mm.
But a little bit sweet. We both have our good friend Jeff. So shout
Mm-hmm.
out to my good friend Jeff, the guy who makes all the good meats. He also makes a really good bread, beer bread. And
Nice.
we have it on St. Patty's Day. And
Nice.
this is pretty darn good for a box version of the real deal that he
Mm-hmm.
makes. So, um,
Hey, when
I
you're in a
highly
pinch,
recommend. And I was drinking my coffee and I was like, "Oh, I've already had dessert. What can I have? This is what I can have.
it's
Carbs."
like it rides the line. Right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
excellent, excellent.
So, I'm going to look at my notes while I chew on this.
Excellent.
And boy. Mm, oh wow. This is going to be harder than I thought.
I was gonna say you might need some liquids to help with that.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I'm going to wait until I swallow it all the way.
Before talking, good call. Good call.
I'm gonna aspirate. Yeah, I can't eat that one.
It's
Okay.
like that old like high school college cracker trick, right? What is it, like 10 crackers? Can you eat 10
Yeah, you
crackers
can't
at once?
eat more than like well, I think it was
There's a
worse. Like you
number.
can't saltines. Like you can't eat more
Yeah,
than 6 in a minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was impossible.
We should
I
try
think we
that
all tried
on
that.
the podcast.
I think we
Hmm.
tried the was it a gallon of milk in
Oh
a certain amount
boy.
of time, or like a liter of milk or something like that, or a carton of milk? I
Yep.
remember
A
doing that
gallon.
one in high school. A
Yeah.
gallon?
Oh yeah. And so many people puked
Yeah.
it up.
Oh, so many.
Those were
So
different
many.
days.
Those were different
You're
times.
not
Yeah.
allowed to do that anymore, I feel like.
No, I don't want to waste good milk.
I have to
So,
move the mic a little bit.
uh-oh. This is the gamble. This is the only gambling we do is when we try to touch the mic connection.
Okay. I think we're
You're
okay
good.
still.
So far, so good.
Look at us. Testing fate.
Yes, it works.
Okay.
Okay.
So, um, first things first. Hope
Mhm.
you guys all had a great spring break. We
Yes,
took
that has
ourselves a little
concluded.
break ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we're back.
Yes.
So,
I wouldn't
um,
say rested. I'd say more tired.
yeah, isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah,
How
it's not really our break, right? It's almost busier. I don't know. I think all parents can kind of chime in on this. Like, yes, we look forward to quote unquote breaks, but it's actually double duty because not only are they not in school for 5 hours a day, now we need to create activities for them to do. Right.
that's
So,
right. And is it what is I don't think there is a spring break for parents.
no, no,
Just
there's no summer vacation. There's no winter break. These
yeah.
are all figments of our imagination of a time of old when we were
Once,
young
once,
and in
once,
school.
long ago.
Long, long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
galaxy far. No, I'm just kidding. I know we both got a short timeline today, so I want to be respectful of that. And I know Travis had many, many things to talk about. But
yeah.
what's on the menu today? What's our appetizer, main course? I like how we always have like metaphors for food, by the way.
As it should be. If you're tuned into us now, and or if you're tuned
For
into
long
us
enough,
8 years
there's
from
a
now,
theme.
we're gonna be saying the
There's
same thing.
there's a theme. Yeah.
First, I need a little tiny snack to show some B-roll footage that I'm gonna lose if I don't use it this
Ooh.
week.
Okay.
Okay, so
It's got a timestamp on it. What's this B-roll? I can't wait to watch. Okay.
it's just gonna get too lost into my photos that I won't be able to find it anymore because
I
you
know
take
that
like
problem.
93,000 a day. So
Photos. Yep. Yeah, I know
yeah,
that problem.
yeah. So okay, our first little bitty snack before
Yep.
we get into the hors d'oeuvres is
Mhm.
this, okay? It's another pro tip
Ooh,
Thursday for you,
I'm taking notes. Let's hear it.
okay? Pro tip, if you have not done this, I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
If you have Chrome, anything Chrome,
Mhm.
you might I don't know if you know the trick. I don't know if you know the trick.
It's the web browser, right? Not the metal finish.
No, it's the metal finish.
Ah,
So,
okay, so there you go.
clear
That's
hey,
another
thank you
Rob
for
insight
clarifying.
right there.
Another Rob clarifying moment brought to
Thank you,
you
thank
by
you.
Rob. Hey,
Because I'm actually using Chrome, the web browser, right now.
yes,
So,
actually, as am
okay.
I. So,
Okay, so there you go. So Chrome the metal. Okay,
hey,
we're ready.
I but if the web browser wants to
If it
sponsor
works for
us,
the
go
browser
for it.
too.
Yep, yep. One day
Okay.
I'm gonna say it, and we're gonna get one, and it's gonna be awesome. Do you wanna be the first sponsor of the Dads in Real Life podcast? Oh,
There you
boy,
go.
are you gonna get all of the royalties or whatever. It's gonna be great. Um, so just saying is all.
Just
Okay,
saying.
for reals, pro tip, if you have chrome, the metal finish on anything,
Mhm.
and you want to, shine it up a bit, make it look
Mhm.
like it's new, olive oil.
Hmm.
Or, I mean,
Interesting.
potentially even mineral oil might work, but olive oil is what I use, okay? So, I have a barbecue
Mhm.
and it gets weathered, I got a cover for it, but it kinda gets all, like, cloudy and,
Yep.
dirty and everything, right? So, give it a quick wipe with a cleaner just to kinda get all the yucky stuff off, and
The
then
grime and stuff, yeah.
yeah, and then you hit that puppy with a little bit of
Little
olive oil.
EVOO. I
Yep,
gotcha.
olive
Nice.
oil, and, it
Oh,
kinda rubs in like, like you're waxing the car a bit,
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
I I think oil, like, sometimes it, like, maybe freaks you out in the sense that you're like, "What? That's just gonna be all over the place now," right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It does leave just, like, a tiny bit of, like, that feel to it, but that's not a bad thing. That's good. That's good for it. And it
It's
also
almost like a
shines it
layer
up.
of protection, right?
Yeah,
So,
think of it that way,
there
and
you
then
go.
eventually it kind of just dissipates, and then you do it again later. So,
I'm sure there's
actually
gonna be some form of B-roll over this
no,
for those of you guys watching this.
I'm gonna show you a tiny little taste right here while the
Ooh, a
B-roll
live
is
action demo?
going,
Gotcha, gotcha,
okay?
gotcha.
Um, Let me just bring it up here. See, I'm telling you, I'm already swiping through multiple times to find
Yeah,
it. We're
and you
that
can't
far.
find it anymore. It's
Okay,
a
got it.
1,000 photos from yesterday.
I got it. Okay,
Mhm.
so here okay,
Okay, I'm
hold on.
watching.
I'm gonna see if we can focus in enough.
My eyes will
Um,
drift from the camera to watch the screen. Ooh,
ooh,
that
nope,
is nice.
nope,
Nicely done.
nope, nope. That means you can't see it because this is the before.
Okay.
You have your phone?
Do I have my phone? Yeah, I have my oh, you're gonna send it to me. Look at this
Yep,
technology. Yeah, send it over.
there you go.
Okay, I got a video. Ooh, this is clear.
Okay, so
Ooh, that is kinda scruffed up.
see, so that's what it looks like after you use a cleaner, right?
Yes, you can tell you went to town and tried to get all the stuff off. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, and then
Mhm. I have the same work paper towels too, so that's nice.
those shop towels are clutch.
Ooh, nicely done afterwards. And then you didn't even wipe off the cleaner. You just put olive oil straight on it and then just wiped it off together?
Yeah, yeah, you just put the olive oil on and you wipe
There
it
you go.
in, basically. You don't do anything else. You just wipe it in, and you can wipe it with the paper towel or whatever as much as you
Yeah.
want, and
Looks
that'll
great.
clear it up.
I got a question. So,
Yeah.
have you barbecued on it since?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, so I know olive oil has a smoke point. So did it just like the outside start smoking everywhere because of the olive oil on it?
That's a very good question. Now, I use an olive oil spray on the inside when I'm putting
Ooh,
my
okay.
burgers on, and that
Mhm.
puppy smokes up right away. Not olive oil,
Yeah.
no, it's avocado. Sorry, avocado
Okay.
oil.
Yeah.
Avocado oil does better with high heat, but yet
Yes,
it does
olive
still
oil has a
smoke,
lower smoke point. Yeah.
but it does smoke. But the
Mhm.
whole grill itself does not smoke
Oh, okay,
having
good.
wiped it on there. So,
Okay, because
you're
I know it's
clear.
like hot to the touch, but it probably not hot enough to break down into smoke. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I think, like, you can use it on anything that is chrome, and that'll clean it up.
Mhm.
For example, like our our piece of garbage toaster that I'm still stuck with that I haven't gotten a 4 slot for yet. If you
Okay,
haven't
we're
listened
gonna
to that
start a
episode.
fundraiser for Travis's Christmas present. It's just gonna be a 4 toaster. That's
Yeah.
it. Put a
Um,
little put a little link down below.
that puppy got all, kind of grimy, and you just
Yeah,
wipe it down with some olive
a
oil.
little olive
I have
oil.
a
Yep.
kettle that I used to do some pour overs during when we go on camping trips,
Nice,
and that's
nice.
chrome, and that thing gets all dusty sitting in not being used, and you just wipe that
Little
olive
olive
oil,
oil.
boom.
Okay.
There's your tip of the day. Okay.
Now you know.
Yep, and as a viewer, you got to watch it, all that smooth B-roll and without any interruptions. We just talked about that for 15 minutes.
Beautifully edited. I know
You
you
got the
did.
3-minute version. You're welcome. And that's
Thank you,
why
editing.
that just shows look how good we're getting. Look how good we're getting. I
We
can
are
make a
way good.
potato fly across the screen, and I can put B-roll right on top of
Hey,
us.
I love the flying potato. It's our version of reading Rainbow,
Yep,
so
yep. I think it should stay forever
I think it should stay.
immortalized.
Exactly.
We'll just make it fly across every once in a
At
while.
that point. Exactly. Whenever you say, "And now you know," just a flying potato with some
Whee!
sparkles, there you go. Perfect.
The sparkles are extra credit. I don't know. We'll see about those.
I believe in you, Travis. I believe in you.
Thanks. Thanks, Rob.
Anytime.
You ready for the snacks today?
Let's hear the snacks.
And by snacks, I mean it might just become a snack that you eat so much of, like NFL, Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, that
Nachos
it
become the main
becomes the
course.
meal.
Yep, I gotcha.
So just so you guys are ready, that might be the case today.
That might happen
Um,
actually, yeah.
let's talk about space, shall we?
Yes, the final frontier.
The final frontier. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not aware, I didn't think I had to say that, but apparently I do. If you're not
Maybe,
aware, we just
maybe
flew around the backside of the moon for the first time.
since what,
Well,
Apollo 8, Apollo 11?
Apollo 11 or
Since the '70s. I know
13.
since the '70s.
Yeah,
We
it
haven't
was
gone to the moon since
68
the '70s.
through 72, I think. So
Okay.
68 through since 72. Um, well, I mean, like we went to the moon, and I think that
Mhm.
that was as far as we just went and landed on it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
they went around the dark side of the moon, and
Mhm. Great
they
song.
also reached the moon as the moon was much farther out. So the astronauts surpassed the farthest
Yeah, it's a
distance
new record,
humans have
right? It's a
ever.
new record.
Yeah. So
That's so cool.
a lot of history in the making here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean the just the explorer or the excite like just the mystery of it really gets me. I was really pumped, and these days with technology,
Mhm.
literally you get to live feed them like pretty much the whole time they were out
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
which I think is genius on NASA's part, is
Oh, yeah.
absolutely show us what's going on at any point. It's like people watch eagles lay eggs, live all the
On live
time. So
streaming.
like
Exactly.
put that camera on the spaceship for me, please. So
Nice.
anyways, um apparently, I did not realize this, but space travel is a little bit more of a hot topic than you might think.
Mm.
Well, we're going to talk about the cool stuff about it, but I just want to
Okay.
point out that as I was asking around, be like,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, you watching the moon?
The
You guys watching
moon.
them go around the back today?" Nobody. Like I was like, "Hey,
Cricket.
did you watch the astronauts over the last did you hear about the astronauts last
Did
night?"
you know that we had astronauts that went around the moon and landed just this past
And
week?
a lot of people are like, "Oh, no."
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
like, yeah, and okay, but then there's also another camp that's like, it's a fair point, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna let somebody else speak for us on this. If they end up on the podcast, they can talk about it. But um, there are a lot of people I talked to. I said, "Hey, did you see the space travel?" And they're like, we could spend our money on something more useful, like
Mhm.
houses and
Mhm.
water to drink.
Mhm.
Why are we going into space? So
Yeah.
there's that, and I get that, it makes me kinda sad, I'm like, yeah, yeah, of course, but you know what? There's money everywhere, and there's a lot of money that's being spent in the very poor ways everywhere,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
Wha
I think first off, when you like texted me this topic, I want to applaud your and this is all positive, childlike awe. Because I think that's something we start to lose as we get older. Because I remember when I was a kid hearing about traveling to space, or when I learned about the moon in the late 80s, I was just like, I can't believe like that we sent people, not a monkey or a dog, into space, landed on the moon, like kind of like I was really into kind of space and fantasy and Star Wars and Star Trek. So the fact that that actually happened in real life was an awe. I think as we get older, and it hasn't happened since the 70s. So
Yeah.
a lot of times, like lunar landings with robots and rovers, and that might be crazy. But just to think the physics, the math, the amount of fuel, like the incredible feat that human beings can do. It's another example, and I've talked about this on previous podcasts with you, Travis. Is one of the reasons why like you go to the Grand Canyon or Zion, or it's to feel small again. And I think in our busy kind of hustle bustle life, we forget how small we really are. I mean, we are on a spacecraft. If you think about it, the Earth is
A
not the only
big
planet out there. We're
spaceship,
on a
sphere.
right. We're on a big spaceship, and it's one of those things I think over time we've almost have too much dopamine throughout our lives that we're not in awe anymore. I remember growing up as a kid, learning about space travel or going to camp for the first time or anything. Everything seemed bigger than me, bigger than life. Whereas now it's just like, oh, AI, another spaceship. And so I think we lose that wow factor because of our day-to-day kind of grind, so to speak. So good on you. The fact that you sent it to me, I started like thinking about my childhood and growing up and like, man, I remember when we'd all like huddle around the TV to see something incredible happen. Whereas now we don't really do that as much, right? Like you never hear about any of these big events happening because it's drowned out by the other millions of events that are happening as well. Whereas when we were younger, the only news you got was from the TV news, right? The news station. So whatever they played was like this big grandeur kind of type thing. So yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that we sent, four people circling the moon for the reason of eventually sending more rockets up for people to land on the moon
Yeah.
should still be like, wow, we can still do that as human beings. We can still do that. Yeah, we do a mean mac and cheese, but we can send people to the moon, right?
Well, and the fact that you can that we have it so dialed now that there are a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people that are really good at math, like the
Mm-hmm.
opposite of me, that they can shoot this piece of metal out into space and they can tell you the exact time when they're gonna like reach the moon, when they're going
Mhm.
to
Talk about margin of error,
the
right? There's
they
not
they were
much.
like, "Okay, in about 10 seconds, we're gonna lose contact as it goes around the dark side," and then bloop,
Mhm,
there it goes, and then, and then you're watching splashdown, and they're like, "Okay, it's approaching. It's gonna be
mhm,
hitting the Earth's atmosphere in 3 minutes and 23 seconds."
mhm, and then seeing the pod kinda, like, float down with parachutes and hit the water,
Yeah,
that's pretty
and they're
incredible.
like, "And it has reached the atmosphere, you should start to see flames," and then
Mhm,
fire. Like, I'm just like,
mhm.
"That's crazy to me."
Yeah, and so think about that, like, how crazy is that? And we don't have these moments that much anymore, unless we're talking about them, right? Like, if you think back in the last decade, like, what other point in time or event really brought, like, this much awe, right? I can't name one, like,
No.
this is probably the only time, right? So,
Yeah.
the fact I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're kind of inundated with all this information and thousands of events, so it's kinda like a drop in the well, so to speak, or is space really not that big of a deal anymore? Like it's got to be if you think about how small we are. So for me, it's just a reminder of how far we've come, but also how small we really are and how like we are literally a drop in the well. So yes, I watched all the highlights. I saw the takeoff. I saw the landing. I still get goosebumps, right? Fingers crossed at the takeoff and they get to space and there's kind of everything has to work well. If you think about juggling balls, like imagine how serious this is, how many people are on the team making this happen, that everything, all the math has to work out for this to happen. And it's a huge gamble. I have to imagine, even with the solidified science and the math, it's still a gamble, right? It's still a gamble that it could work. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was pretty cool to see, to hear about it when I was a kid and then to actually see another version of it now. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And Man, I just started going off on this, like, tangent in my head as you talked about it, but just more of, like, the thought of I mean, the distractions of this day and age are unprecedented, right?
Mhm,
And the amount of information there is, we know.
mhm,
It's like you can't even fathom how much information there is. I think
mhm,
I was reading a book last night that was talking about how it used to be there were like 32 hours of programming for like kids that were 33 32 yeah, 32 hours, maybe like a week,
mhm.
that was created for kids, like, in the '80s or something like that,
Yeah, like, if you
per
think about
week.
the actual TV shows, like,
Yeah,
Sesame Street was pretty much the only
yeah,
show,
and
for kids,
now
right?
YouTube, which we're on,
Yeah,
500 hours per minute
mhm.
is uploaded,
Yeah,
and
so, like,
there's just
where's the
everything.
anticipation, right? Where's the waiting for 7 PM on a Friday night? Like, there's none of that anymore. So, I think, like, we don't need to go too much down the tangent, but the delayed gratification isn't really a skill we're developing in childhood anymore, unless it's top down, like the parents are there, right? Like, "Hey, we only get TV at this time of day," or, "Hey, you can't play with your iPad until you're done with this, this, and this," right? So, there's no delayed gratification, and I think you see it kind of cascade into bigger things, right? Like meltdowns easier, right? Getting frustrated easier. It's because we haven't strengthened that muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they talk about how healthy it is to be bored. And I was thinking
Mhm.
about myself. I was like, I don't give myself any time to
Yeah.
be
When's
quote
the last
unquote
time you were
bored or to be
bored?
still.
Yeah.
If I stop, I immediately go, oh, what could I be learning about the bandsaw that just got? Oh,
Yeah. You
oh,
just
what can I
fill
be?
in it,
Yeah.
fill in the
Oh, I
blanks.
should go clean. Oh, I should. And that is the rat race, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
Yeah.
and it's like such a lost sense of community, right? Like, not everybody's tuning into the same channel and watching the same footage
Yeah.
happening?
Yep.
Like, you watch like, okay, look, we had the Olympics just recently,
Mhm.
and we
That's
had the
another
space
event.
trip.
Growing up, like, I remember everyone in the world tuned in to the Olympics. Now it's kind of like, oh, did that just happen? Is that Winter Olympics now? Or is it Summer Olympics? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I wonder because so much of our lives, I think a lot of people, not a lot of our lives, but a lot of technology is going backwards in the sense,
Mhm,
right? Like they're making like the tin can phone that's like for
mhm,
kids, like that you can connect and call like a certain few people.
mhm,
They're changing like the joke, right? Is they're making Uber rides like pre-planned, pre-routed, so you meet with a couple people in one spot, and they're like, that's the bus, that's what that is. And I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing for entertainment or things like that, right? So you are forced almost to be in community, right? Like, I remember, watching the new version of Roadhouse that came out.
mhm, mhm.
Wait, yeah, Roadhouse, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Where the director, like, didn't show up or something because he wanted it to be shown in theaters on purpose, and then the studios, like, uh, cut out that part of the contract or something, and so he was like, "Nah, that's not what I'm here for." Like, this was meant to
Mhm.
be watched in community, and I never thought about that before until then, and then I was like, "Man, I'm gonna have some friends over, we're gonna watch Roadhouse together?" Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because there's just, like, a different atmosphere, there's a different feeling, there's more. Yeah, it's just good for all the senses?
Mhm.
So, I
I
know
think it
that's
was a different type of connection back then, right? Everyone watching the same news channel, the same Sesame Street, meeting up for the same pickup game, all that sense of togetherness, we kind of lose that now. And so, like you mentioned, are we regressing towards that? I don't think we will because of the financial aspect of it. I think, people are going to make money, they make money. I think it's going to be in the hands of the parents and the hands of the community leaders and the hands of the teachers, right? Those are the people that are going to steward kind of like, hey, maybe we save this for when we all get together,
yeah,
right? So even right now, there's times where I'm talking with my oldest, like she's like, have you watched this episode yet? I'm like, no, don't watch it yet. I don't want to talk about it because I haven't watched it yet, right? And so that wasn't possible in the 80s and 90s. We all watched the exact same show at the exact same time.
Yep.
So, like you said, we're kind of inundated. There's like so much access at our fingertips that the wow and the sense of belongingness, like we're all part of the planet. I remember feeling that when I was a kid and thinking about space travel and getting to the moon was like, wow, we all came together as one unified team because there was nothing else on, right? There was no other information or news. Whereas now, I'm sure as soon as it came up on Twitter or your social feed, the other 1,000 things came up too, and it just kind of gets lost in the World Wide Web. So, yeah, I think it'll be top down controlling, and I hope we still do it as parents and as kind of team managers and community managers to be like, hey, that's great, but we can slow it down. I think, like you said, there's something to slowing it down to the point where, boredom. We never hear about that anymore. I don't think anyone gets bored on purpose, right? So,
Yeah.
I think it's something else that we definitely can talk about in the future, or like what can we do to kind of bring that space? Because creativity, a lot of things live in that gray area of boredom or scheduled nothingness, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And that can be its own podcast for sure. So,
Mhm.
to kick it back to space for a moment,
Yeah.
you know, the there are a couple things that I thought were cool when I was listening in.
Shoot. What
Um,
we got?
One meaningful moment that I was not anticipating tearing up over, I was sitting watching, was they got to a point where were observing the moon,
Hmm.
and one of the astronauts mentioned that they'd like to submit naming two different craters. Did you see that?
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. Yep.
And, I was watching it live, so there was no, like, commentary on it, right? And they were like, "We wanna name this one for integrity, for the name of our, the mission and whatnot.
The mission. Mhm.
And, the other one, we wanna name Carol for, like, this team member that we lost who we all loved dearly." And it was the other guy's wife, late
Oh, wow.
wife. And so, she passed in 2020, and then they all, like, started tearing up, and they froze, and like, there was, like, a moment of silence,
Mhm,
and again, it's like humanity in a nutshell, and everybody's watching, like, for the fact for the astronauts to be able to share that, and then even, like, this government entity that is NASA, like, they all
mhm,
like, just froze, and it's
mhm.
like, let's just take a moment. And I was super encouraged by just the humanity of it, right?
Yes, yes.
That was beautiful. And then a funny story. I love this. Um I, I don't talk about where I work because I can't have the fans running around,
Exactly. You can't have all these
chasing
super
me.
fans chasing you down.
Um
Yep.
Also, it's then it's plausible deniability, if I
Yeah,
was to, you know,
yeah.
let the cat out of the bag, then maybe I wouldn't be able to work there anymore. But anyways,
Mm.
in my little side gig, I think it's pretty obvious through what I've talked about before. I see a lot of people and I talk to a
Yes,
lot of people, which is great.
because
Um,
Travis is a people person, if you guys haven't realized
it
that.
fills my cup.
Yes.
Um, so the other day, I see this guy and he's got a NASA jacket on, and I was like, "Hey, that's a really cool jacket." Uh,
Exactly. What eBay store did you get that
And he's
from,
like,
right?
"Thanks, I made it." And I was like,
Hmm.
looking at the patches, I was like, "That's super cool." Um, and he was like, because they were they were the legit
Like
patches.
legit patches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had just watched them talk about it on, Netflix Live or whatever, they're
Yep,
like,
yep.
"Here's the patch." And I was like, "That's cool." And he and he was like,
You recreated the patch.
"Yeah,"
That's
he
pretty
goes, "Yeah,
cool.
I work for NASA." And I was like, "What?"
Of course you do.
And I was
Yeah,
like, wow, this is
yeah.
cool. Okay. And I'm
Mhm.
not I I take every moment it I take advantage of every moment that I possibly can.
Yes.
Um Number one, to talk about just cool things in general. Like, why not? Why
Mhm.
would you not want to be connected to all the cool people in the world? Come on now. So um and then this podcast gives me an excuse to further further
For
discuss.
that goal, exactly.
But I wasn't thinking about it in the moment. I was just talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, so I create all of the swag essentially," and
Mhm.
I was like, "You make all the stuff for what?" And he totally showed me some stuff that they were just talking about that morning,
No way,
like,
that's
that's gonna
crazy.
be coming out, and he's like, "Nobody's seen this," and I was like, "Ooh."
I know, right?
Yeah.
Insider information, that's awesome.
And so he explained to me this cool story about they had this, like, little floating stuffy in the cabin,
Mhm.
while they were going around. He explained the story of that to me, and then he told me it was really funny. Apparently, the astronauts were supposed to leave it in the why do I keep messing this up? What is it? The pod what's it's not the pod, it's not the spaceship, it's the what is the Orion? It is the, like, the vessel.
We'll go with vessel, that makes sense.
They were supposed to leave it in the spaceship,
There you
okay?
go.
Um, because they were gonna then the team was gonna take it back, and then they're making, like, yeah, a new version
Yeah,
to
copies
multiply.
of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But the astro he told me, so he's like, "They were supposed to, but the astronauts were like, 'No way, we're bringing this guy with us.'" And then I just saw a story on the news that was like, the astronauts bring the stuffy with them,
And
and
it's just,
like
like, floating in the background. Yeah.
yeah. So, no, like, but they took it off the ship. And they were supposed to have it during flight, just to clarify.
Yeah,
That was a, like, it's the zero gravity, like, to show that there's zero gravity. And this kid made the design for it, and he, like, won the contest. So they used
that's
his
so cool.
design, and they put, like, names on the thing. So
Mhm.
super cool. But so yeah, it just I felt like I had all this insider knowledge. I was like, "No
Oh, yeah.
way." And then his
So
family comes up and I'm like, "Oh, you're a dad." Guess what the next thing I said was?
where can I get that jacket? That's what I figured, but
No, I said, "You should be on our podcast."
podcast, yeah.
Um, so anyways, if you're listening right now, we're excited to have you. And
That'd be awesome.
he
That'd be
might
awesome.
not be, but I said, "Hey, I screwed up our first sticker," and I gave him a sticker,
Yeah,
and, yeah, he's probably like, "Wow, I see like a million stickers a day, and thanks
yeah.
for that." He was
Nice.
very nice, super cool guy. I
I'm
am
sure,
very
I'm
grateful
sure.
to have met him, and I thought that was pretty neat.
That is super
Um,
cool.
so that was my fun story. It made me think
It's
of
a great
another
story.
cool space story, but well, what do I say that for our next space conversation? Speaking of
Mm,
people that I run into on a daily basis, I changed my mind. I'm gonna tell you real quick, okay? So,
okay.
uh, I was at the airport, like a year ago,
Mhm,
and we're just talking, and there's a delay, right? So we have to go
mhm,
get back
mhm.
in line and like send our luggage somewhere else. And there's this guy behind me, and we just get to chatting, and he's like, "Oh, this, that, or the other about the moon." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like, do you I forget what I said. It was like basically like, like, do you work in like the space sector?" And he's like, "Oh, you could say that."
You could say I
Um,
dabbled.
and I was like, "Oh yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah, more like on a defense level." I was like, "You work for like the government?" And he's like, "You could say that."
You
And
could say that. Too
I
funny.
came to find out that I was talking with like the second in command of all of Space Force.
That's
I was
hilarious.
like, "Oh, can you tell me more about
Hey,
this?" It's
and the funny thing
classified.
is you never know who you're standing next to, right? Especially like airplanes and like public transportation. So that's so cool that you're like, yeah, you could say that. Kind of a big deal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So, we talked about like satellite stuff, and it was pretty cool. And I don't even remember all the stuff that we talked about, but um, it was it was pretty cool. We talked about like the difference between international waters and
Mhm.
international space, and
Mm.
how certain countries are like have to come to agreements. He had just come from this conference with like
Yeah,
other
whether or not a
world leaders.
satellite can be
Like,
stationed
yeah, like,
over their
"Hey."
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, "There are a lot of reasons why you have to go through
Yep.
this, like, international committee in order to do this, that, or the other." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Man,
Makes sense.
the stuff you don't think about when you go to bed at night."
Exactly.
So, um, yeah. So did you see the splashdown?
I did. I did.
I cheered out loud at one point because I was
Oh,
watching,
yeah.
and the
I stood
parachute
up.
part,
I
the
stood up.
parachutes were super cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
And
care who you are. Like, I don't know anything about this, but did you see the parachutes just shoot out of that thing?
just shoot out, yeah.
And it like stayed at this like perfect
The
level, like all
perfect
the way down
angle.
until it just went
Mhm.
splish into the
Yep.
water. Oh man, people are
That's crazy.
smart. Let me tell you.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So, yeah, just historic moment. Humans went farther in space than ever before. I'm really
Yeah.
pumped for us to go to Mars just because, I mean, come on. We gotta
Yeah.
get video footage of that too, you know?
Yeah. Yep,
Let's
yep.
live stream that. I don't know if that's possible, but
Mm, depends how much you pay for Wi-Fi.
yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
pretty expensive out there, but we'll
maybe.
see. Um,
Yeah. I'm sure
Also,
Starlink
let
pick it
it
up.
be known for posterity,
Mm,
for future's sake. When I am who knows? I don't know how fast technology is gonna get there, but eventually people are gonna be going to the moon, I think, right? You know, like tour.
yeah.
It's gonna be like
Yeah, yeah,
Jungle
yeah.
Cruise at
If you think
Disneyland.
I was just gonna say that, if you think cruise now, that'll be the version of it to the moon. Yeah.
Yep, space cruise. So, when I'm like, I don't know, 65, maybe it will have like calmed down enough. Enough people will have gone that it won't be too pricey. And at least me and Hudson,
Gotcha.
we're going. We're going.
That'd be
Deb's
awesome.
like,
That would be
there's no
awesome.
way I am leaving this planet. You can go to
Yeah.
space, but not me. And I was like,
Done.
I
Here's
want
my
to go to
ticket.
space real
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So, are you? Do you want to go to space, Rob? Are you gonna
You
go?
know, when I was younger, I did. I think I'm still interested in it, especially when you started to do kind of the tourism where the shuttles would go right out of the, I don't know, high
Yeah, they
enough for
leave.
satellites,
Yep,
but not in space.
yep.
And
So
then
you
you had
can
like,
like get zero gravity, but you're not
exactly. I
gone.
remember like, oh, let me get on that list, right? But yeah, I can see myself like, hey, if we have a way to get to the moon, I think that would be a once in a lifetime kind of scenario. So
I mean, if you want to talk pie in the sky in like 15 years, we might still be doing this, and maybe they'll let
oh,
us do
a
podcasts from
little a
space.
little remote podcast from the moon.
Ooh. Hey,
Yeah,
anybody listen out there who knows about a thing or two? Maybe if you work
let's
for
make it happen.
NASA,
Let's make it happen.
are you a dad? Do you work for NASA? Do you want to get us on the moon for a podcast? Humanity's first podcast on the moon.
There you go. Okay, that goes on the vision board somewhere.
All right, add it. Add it. Well, just as I suspected, our little what are
We're
those
being
hot
summoned.
dogs in a blanket
Mhm,
appetizer snack of the day
mhm.
became the main course. And guess what?
As it does.
We ate so many pigs in a blanket. We're out of time. I have to take my
Mhm.
kids to the dentist. So
Ooh, next episode.
that's fun. Hey,
Mhm.
it's bad enough for somebody to tell you that you need to
Your
that
teeth
your
needs
teeth are
work.
bad. It's a whole nother thing. People telling you your kids' teeth need work.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, come on, they're gonna lose them all. It doesn't matter.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
boy. Okay.
yeah.
Well, hey,
Okay,
it was fun seeing you guys all again, or
yes,
kind of. And
sort of, yeah.
we're glad you're here. We're glad you're with
Thanks
us.
for listening. Yeah.
And get hyped if you dads have any questions about kids and phone usage, screen
Ooh,
time, video
yes.
games, what's
Just
healthy, what's
tech.
not. uh
Mhm,
we have a special guest coming on very
mhm.
soon that we are really excited about, who knows a thing or two about this stuff,
Mhm.
who's going to give us some stuff to consider and to think about.
Love it.
So, please let us know if
Post
you
in the
have any.
comments below.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram. There'll be an Instagram story that you guys can enter your questions there, and we'll be running that over the next 2 weeks for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, excited about our guest coming up.
Get pumped. I am going to finish this delicious bread now that I don't have to talk.
Mhm.
And we're going to get over to the dentist. So, hey, we're not professionals.
No, we're not gurus. We're
We're
just
just
two
two
dads
dads in
in
real
real
life.
life.
Hey everyone!
Thanks again for joining us.
We started Dads in Real Life simply as an excuse to hang out.
That quickly evolved into a desire to bring parents,
especially dads,
together in community through sharing stories, experience, laughs, and more.
We also wanted a podcast you could listen to and enjoy at any point in your day.
Even when the kids are in the car.
Want to take us on your next road trip?
You can find us on Spotify and iTunes as well.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to get this show in front of more parents like yourself.
Until next time.
We'll see you in real life.